working our way through some of the D&D Dungeon Master toolkit points that, in my opinion, building this checklist, areas that, as a Dungeon Master, that we want to keep in mind in running our games. And ultimately, the goal is to have many of these points managed, so this way your creativity, your player personality, what I term the vision and the voice, can come forward, and that passion as a DM can manifest itself on the table, create that magnetism, pull in the players. That's a lot, but creating a really memorable game is the goal. And I wanted to share with you, separate of adventure, and we're going to dive into the different types of adventures to run. What does an ideal gaming session look like? What are some of the little checkpoints along the way that I believe can build and have a good foundation for a game? That's what I'm going to share and push out here. And then, as always, we'll open up the comments to explore further, get some feedback, some ideas to incorporate into my own D&D game. I try, and this, I should say, this is best case scenario. This is best case scenario. Sometimes things don't always work out this way due to time and where you play and other factors out of your control, but absolutely best case scenario. I try to arrive as early as possible, not like an hour before we play, but 20 minutes, 15 minutes before we play. This way I can get my DM screen set up, my notes out, the books ready, any miniatures, arrange the table, whether we're playing at a gaming store or a club. And this way, as the players arrive, because very rarely everyone walks in at once, as the players arrive, not only can I greet them, but if there were any pre-game things to take care of, like Fritz, I was thinking about jumping into this character class. What do you think? Or I'm thinking about taking this feat, but I really don't know what it does. How does it work in the game? That those little kind of pre-game housekeeping, bookkeeping things, I want to take care of, because as soon as everyone sits down at the table, I want to jump in. We've talked about this idea. It's a very real transition. You arrive at the gaming table, you've got annoying stuff like schoolwork, responsibilities, work responsibilities, the day-to-day things that you have to manage because you have responsibilities to yourself and your family and what else you want to achieve outside of D&D. So getting into character, literally becoming an avatar on the table, takes a little bit of time. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, whatever it is, I want us to jump in right away. So I literally like everyone to sit down, get out your stuff, and then boom, the adventure starts. We're rolling dice, something's happening, action, roll for initiative, really start the adventure out and pull in the players into immersion. So those little bookkeeping pieces, if I can do that before, as people arrive, I want to take care of that. I don't necessarily want to have everyone sit down and say, okay, before we jump in, any bookkeeping or any questions. I mean, it sometimes happens, but I want to jump in. As we're running the adventure, I don't watch the clock, right? I'm not there to get through as much of the adventure as possible. I'm there to kind of have the story, the narrative evolve organically. But I am keeping an eye on the clock, the timer, however much time we have, for what I term an NSP, natural stopping point. If we're moving through the adventure and we have 20 minutes left and we're heading up to like a boss encounter, right? We're going to fight the frost giants. This happened in a recent game. We're going to fight the frost giants. Someone in the party could get killed. Challenge rating is up there. This is a major plot twist because what you uncover and the decisions made during this encounter, it's literally going to fork the campaign left or right. I don't want to rush that. I don't want to rush that. So if I see there's like 20 minutes left, 10 minutes left, 5 minutes left, now's not the time to start a major encounter. So what you'll see as you go through an adventure, there might be some places where this is a good place. This is a good place to stop. This is a good place to kind of naturally stop, and we can maybe work out a little closing to the adventure or maybe explore another little piece. But if I see us coming up against the timer, then that's where I want to stop it. So we'll have that kind of natural stopping point where we are ready to go. When the adventure is over, I like to leave like 5 or 10 minutes if possible, 5 minutes or so. Any bookkeeping. This plays into the start of the next adventure. Any questions? If the party has leveled up, then roll for hit points. Now, leveling up, just how I handle it, you can do that on your own when you take that next level and you have to think of what your unlock is going to be or how you want to spend your gold pieces. We don't need to do that at the tabletop. If you're new to D&D and you want me to walk you through it, absolutely. If you have a couple of questions for the party, absolutely. But we don't need to spend 30 minutes game time, tabletop time, looking at the places your character is going to go. Think about it during the week. The only thing I ask is that by the next gaming session, you have it done and locked. But what you do have to roll for, hit points. We do hit points at the table, and that's half house rules, half old school. At level 1, the gods have blessed you to be an adventurer. At level 1, I always assign maximum starting hit points. So maximum hit dice for your character class, D6, D8, D12, D4, whatever it's going to be, plus constitutional bonuses, your max con bonus, plus any other bonuses you might have based on class or other attributes. You start with the maximum possible hit points. From there, you roll every level. You might roll a 1. I feel it. I do, especially if you're a barbarian with a D12 and you roll a 1. I feel it. I feel it on there, but probably you've got a good enough con bonus, and your con bonus alone is more hit points than my wizard has. But the hit points, we have to roll at the table. We got to see it. It's part of the ritual. We do it. But outside of that, developing your character, we can push that aside. Any final questions or decisions about what the party wants to do or dealing with treasure? I like to settle that at the end, especially dealing with treasure. Everyone kind of decide what we're doing now, maybe a little give and take. I don't really need that plus something sword, but it's my share of the treasure. I'll be happy to give it to you, and maybe you give me some gold piece equivalent, or maybe next time I get first pick of the treasure, or maybe this time around it benefits the party that you have the sword, so maybe I get 3 of the potions. Not exactly equal, but we're here to survive as a party, and I realize my character can't make it alone without a little bit of give and take. I like to take care of all of that at the end of the game. So again, this way it cycles into the start of the next gaming session. We sit down, the action starts, the avatar's on the table, we're brought into the game, and we can try to create, as a DM, as players, as a group on the tabletop, the best experience possible.